Good afternoon, everyone. It's a fantastic day today, and I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this WalkAway movement. It's basically taken over social media, have become very, very viral over the past week or so. It was started by this gentleman named Brandon Straka, and basically the movement is representing people who may have a Democratic background, who may have a liberal background, who identify with certain views and worldviews of the left, and they see the extremism which has taken over the Democratic Party. This is taken over a lot of leftist, a lot of liberal ideals, I should say. They've seen where it's really shifted into a real extreme party. Basically, one to where you're not allowed to disagree with, you're not allowed to denigrate from it, you're not allowed to deviate from it to any degree, whether it's 1 degree or 99. They don't really care. If you disagree with them on even the smallest things, then you're a bigot, racist, homophobe, whatever they want to label you. But the mainstream media has been trying to package this movement as fake, not real. They've tried to say that it was even, started by a Russian bot. Imagine my shock, right? Just looking at this whole thing as a Russian bot thing. That's the desperation the left has gotten to. I mean, but you can couple this along with everything else they do. I mean, they just label you, and that's the problem with a lot of the Democratic platform today. I mean, it's not even a real platform. It's Trump is bad, and that's it. That's their platform, or what I would describe it as a lack of a platform. But yeah, it's just comprised of a lot of people who have seen just the extremism that's taken over the Democratic Party. It was taken over a lot of what should be liberal ideals, and not everybody has. Excuse me. Well, I mean, it says not everybody that has left the Democratic Party are conservatives. I'd say many of them have shifted to libertarian ideals, conservative ideals, but some of them still align with liberal ideals. If you look at a gentleman like Sargon of Akkad, he describes himself as a classical liberal, yet does not want to identify with the extremism and just the insanity of where the Democratic Party has shifted today, and just the left in general. He doesn't want to even be associated with them in any capacity right now, because of just how vile and just how the sheer level of evil that they've stooped to. So this movement started by Brandon Straka was to represent these people who saying, well, look, if I'm a black person, I've walked off the Democratic paradigm, or if I'm a minority of whatever minority background, I've walked off the Democratic paradigm. I've walked away from the Democratic Party, and I may even support Trump. It talks about people who may even support Trump. You ain't even got to necessarily support Trump. You just is looking at the party as where it is today, as opposed to where it was, say 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago. You're looking at the difference between the Democratic Party today and the Democratic Party now, leftist ideas then and leftist ideas now, and they're seeing that these people are foul. These people are extreme. They don't want nothing to do with any of these people. So some of them have even gone to support Trump, and some of them have just gone independent. And they say, well, I don't really get down with Trump like that, but I still see how vile the Democratic Party is today, and I don't want nothing to do with that. And the fact of the matter is, they just really want to discredit this movement. I mean, they don't really want to give it the serious attention it deserves. That's what a lot of people on the left like to do. Anybody that disagrees with them, they don't deserve to be heard. They don't even deserve to be looked at as authentic or genuine or anything like that. They just want to shut them out and basically pretend like they don't exist or they shouldn't exist. So they don't want to give this movement the legitimacy it deserves. But you can just look on YouTube and see tons and tons of videos of people coming out and saying, look, I've walked away from the Democratic Party. A lot of people who come from my sort of ethnic background of being black, they say, well, I've walked off the Democratic plantation and I've been red-pilled and so on. So to segue that into how this relates to me is that, well, I was never really on the Democratic plantation. I was raised with wholesome values, family values, pro-life values, pro-First and Second Amendment. That's my background. So I'm a black conservative. I'm obviously a male, and I'm a Christian. Basically, I'm the very antithesis of what the Democratic Party expects in a black man. If I'm a black man or a black minority, I should not be Christian. I should not be pro-life. I should not. There's a lot of things that I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be a conservative at all. Among all those other things about, shouldn't be Christian. I shouldn't be a conservative. I shouldn't be against things like universal health care, which I am, because I think it causes a strain on our economy, and I don't think anybody's entitled to have their stuff paid for out of other people's pockets. I'm against free college because, the money's got to come from somewhere, and more often than not, a lot of people that support these ideas don't want to be the first people to give. They want to come from somewhere, and then they want to say, well, it's got to come from the rich. But, the rich is the rich, but they don't have infinite money either. Just because they're rich don't mean their pockets are infinite. So somebody has to pay for it. So I'm against all those things, and I'm the very antithesis of what they expect from someone who's black. And a lot of people have come out who are black just like me, male and female, and I've said, look, you people don't represent me, and I'm a real person, and I deserve to be heard. I deserve to have my side of the story told, and you're not going to silence me. You're not going to just simply overlook me, and I'll not speak out against you. So, me personally, I haven't walked away from the Democratic plantation per se. I haven't walked away from the Democratic Party per se. I was never on it, but it still resonates with me. It still centers with a lot of my thinking, and it's quite moving to me to see a whole lot of black people waking up. In fact, you have the people who align with the progressive side who claim to be the woke ones, if you will. And it's interesting to me that as woke as they claim to be, they want to make sure everybody else stays asleep by trying to pretend this movement is fake, by not trying to give it it's just attention that it deserves. Because if there was a movement like this, similar to this, that just happened to be progressive in nature, it'd be shot all over the mainstream news and the media. You wouldn't hear about it. You wouldn't stop hearing about it, I should say. You wouldn't stop hearing about it for weeks and months. So when it's a movement that goes to the antithesis of their views, when it disagrees with their paradigm, when it disagrees with their whole package narrative, then it's fake, then it's not real. Or if anybody in there are real, then they're the racists, they're the homophobes, they're the bigots. They're the typical labels that they want to put on people. They belong in the cards that they want to draw because they have these special propaganda cards that they like to draw. You refute their argument if you believe in First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights. You must not care about children. You must be for hate speech and so on and so forth. All this stupid crap that they like to do. But these people like to substitute people for ideas. That's what they like to do. They like to look at people as ideas and not look at people as people. This is the problem with where the Democratic Party has shifted, how it's becoming more and more leftist. And I don't want to conflate necessarily liberalism with leftism, because, like I said, Sargon of Akkad is a classical liberal, but that doesn't mean he's a hardcore leftist either. So you got people who are conservative and non-conservative alike, and they're coming out and saying, look, you people don't represent me, or at least you no longer represent me, and we're real, and it's time for our voices to be heard. And I really, really appreciate, and it really makes me feel good, and it really, really makes me proud to see that there's more and more people that are just like me. Not only people who probably have grown up in a Christian home with conservative values just like I have, but even more so, maybe necessarily didn't have the same background I have. Maybe they didn't grow up Christian at all. Maybe they didn't grow up conservative at all. But they have gotten their eyes open. They have seen the people who run places like Chicago, who have made these promises to change the inner city, to make the inner city more prosperous. And you can look at the inner city in 2000 and look at the inner city in 2018, and there's no difference. The main people that claim to run it, usually Democrats, nothing has really changed. In fact, in certain ways, you could say that it's gotten worse. I mean, people are getting shot at all the time in Chicago. It's crazy, but that would be like another video. But the point is, this is a real movement. We are here. We are making our voices heard, and I'm just throwing my name into the list of people who say that you folks don't represent us. You have no right to label us as people who should be packaged into your presuppositions, your idea of what a man should be. If I come from my sort of background, if you're a woman, you should like necessarily be pro-abortion and things like this. You people don't speak for us, and again, on the other side of that, even if they did agree with some of their liberal ideals, or again, I keep saying liberal, but I don't mean to put liberal with leftism. If they agreed with some of the leftist ideals, that they separated themselves from there. So it's people who are conservative and non-conservative alike coming out to speak against these people, and the mainstream media don't want to give it its just attention. They just want to keep it shut down. They want to keep it packaged away, and they want to discredit it. I mean, these are the sort of Orwellian tactics that have been done throughout history. When you can't actually deal with the individuals, when you can't actually deal with the movement itself, try to shame the movement, try to discredit it, try to say lies. And it's interesting that the fact that they have these mediums that are so powerful and can be so widespread so easily with Facebook and YouTube and CNN, MSNBC, and so on, that it hasn't been enough to keep this movement in check. And it's getting stronger the more they try to suppress it. So that's my thoughts on the WalkAway movement, how it relates to me, how I really feel good to see this happening. And we're not going away anytime soon. And I believe these videos are going to continue to pop up and continue to grow in number. And if they are ignoring us right now, I believe we're going to get to the point to where they can't ignore us any longer. So that's all I want to say. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe it. And if you didn't like it, just be respectful about it and tell me where I went wrong or where you disagree. But let's have a fruitful conversation. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. Peace.